every time I do an unboxing video, especially like a really special one like this, I just feel like an overwhelmed child in a toy store because there's just too much. Honestly, that has got to be one of the most beautiful Anthuriums I've ever seen. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, I feel like I just got goosebumps. Hello everyone, I hope you are doing all well today. I have literally just put you on the tripod. I'm multitasking doing this because something very exciting has just arrived and oh my God, I just want to get into this parcel because I have been quite literally waiting in every single day this week for this box. These plants have been a little bit delayed and therefore I'm a little bit, I think they should be fine, but I'm a little bit concerned that they've been in a box for longer than they should have been, and it's been very warm here in the UK. So yeah, I've imported with Aroid Asia, and they're a company that I've never used before, but I've heard really good things about, and they've also very kindly included a couple of plants that I don't know. They've just put some in there that they think I will like. So yeah, I'm gonna unbox them with you. I'm gonna chat a little bit about my experience importing with them, kind of like the process, the things you need to know, stuff like that. And then I'm hoping I won't have to, but maybe talk a little bit about rehabbing and acclimating plants and how to set your imported plants up for success. So yes, that is the plan for today's video. But first, if you're new here, hi, my name's Claire and this is Yoli. I make videos all about houseplant care, sharing tips and tricks I've learnt over the years to help keep your plants happy and healthy. And yeah, I'm not going to say any more. I'm just going to get into it because I'm very excited. So yes, I hope you enjoy it. Let's get into it. So as I say, although these plants have arrived relatively quickly in the grand scheme of things, like I have imported plants before and they've taken weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, these have only been in the post for 10 days, which for bare rooted plants is still quite a long time. But they were meant to arrive, I think about 6 days ago, and every single day I was told that they were going to arrive and then they didn't, and there were customs checks and clearance things and yeah, things basically just didn't happen as quickly as I wanted them to. As I chat to you about this as well, I'm just going to start unboxing them because I'm eager to get in there. But as I say, Aroid Asia is a company that I've never used before. I have previously imported plants, I think maybe 5 or 6 times now. But Aroid Asia reached out to me about 3 weeks ago, I think, and they very kindly just said, we'd love you to do an unboxing video. They haven't asked me to say anything apart from my honest opinions about these plants. I just want to make that very clear. But yeah, they very kindly said that they would like to send me some plants, which is an absolute perk of the job. So of course I said yes, and they let me pick a couple. And then, as I say, they've also picked a couple for me as well. So yeah, I'm very, how to get in? I'm very intrigued to see what is in the box. But it was all processed really, really quickly, and I don't believe things were done any differently for me just because I agreed to make an unboxing video. The only thing that I had to do at my end is I had to obtain, and this might be different depending on which country you live in, but I had to get a thing called an EORI number, which is really quick and simple to do. You just do it on the HMRC website. But apart from that, I didn't have to do anything. And I think typically every time I've imported before, things have kind of changed in the last couple of years about like laws and regulations and stuff. But assuming you're just importing a small number of plants, I do believe that's just the process like every time. That's how I've always done it anyway. Also before I actually get into the box, I just thought it was hilarious. I brought my laptop over. So in the space of, I think this was in the first 4 days, my plants, so they left Bandung in Indonesia and they went to Jakarta, and then they went to Singapore, and then they went to Bahrain, and then they ended up in Germany, and then they went to Heathrow in the UK. Hang on, and then since they went back to Germany, no, they can't have done. Then they went to Stansted in the UK, then to Heathrow, and then to Southampton for delivery. But I was just like, oh my God, I cannot believe they're moving them around so much. But yes, so this is what the inside of the box looks like. I'm a massive fan of this like stuffing fill. It's really, really good. Ooh, and already I can see some healthy roots, which is good, which is so good. Also, ooh, interesting. Interesting. There's something in there that does not, like something that I've never seen in an import before. So I'm going to leave that one for a moment. I'll come back to that. But what I was going to say is I have imported plants before, and the last time I imported, I had a beautiful import order. There was a little bit of drama, and to be completely honest, I think I got a bit overwhelmed with excitement, and I don't think I did as much as I could or should have done for the plants. And therefore I did lose one really big, beautiful one. So I'm gonna just do everything I can to make sure all of these plants are okay. So this first one is one that I chose. And from what I can see, oh my goodness, yay. I have wanted this plant for such a long time. This is a Philodendron majestic, which is a Philodendron sooooo cross verrucosum. And I've had both the sooooo and the verrucosum in my collection before. And for some reason, particularly the verrucosum, as purebred, as in non-hybridized philodendrons, that's a type that I do really struggle with. I've heard that this one is much easier, and oh my goodness, if you've seen pictures of them when they get big, they are out of this world amazing. Absolutely gorgeous. And just straight off the bat, looking at that, that looks in perfect condition. Even that new little leaf there unfurling looks gorgeous. And I do know, because as I say, I have imported several times before, I am aware that sometimes things can change. Sometimes you can open the box and things look amazing, and then a few days later, as they start to actually adjust, things can still go downhill. So just because they look amazing initially, it doesn't always mean you're out of the woods, but it's looking very hopeful. And actually, feeling the sphagnum moss, it's not completely dry. Because this is the thing I was really worried about, because here in the UK, typically you're worried about cold damage when importing, but actually, miraculously, it's been ridiculously warm these last couple of weeks. So I was just a little bit nervous that they might all be dry and dead, but no, actually. So that's what the roots are looking like. I've got a couple of bits that I am going to trim back. Like that bit there is very yellow, and I don't think that is going to do the plant any favours. I think that's very likely to just rot and drop off as it is. Yeah, it just pulls away, in fact. So I'm going to take that off. And then there's a few roots, like just there, they're like very dark. Not all of them, in fact the majority look really healthy, but I am just gonna trim ones like that back, because as I say, I don't want any root rot. But as I say, these roots look amazing. They actually look amazing. And I have imported plants that have had much drier root systems before, and they've been fine. So I don't want to jinx it, but I kind of feel like this plant is gonna be fine. And it's one that I would like to get onto a moss pole very quickly, actually, because this one sizes up amazingly when it's on a moss pole. But initially, just in terms of acclimating the plant, what I'm gonna do, trim off those roots. What I'm gonna do just to start with is I've got some, so ideally you'd be using distilled water. This is actually half distilled and half tap. And I've just put a few drops of neutralizer in there just so that all the treatment chemicals, chlorine, stuff like that isn't so intense for the plants. That's the best I could do. As I say, ideally you would be using distilled water. I thought I had more than I did. But just while I open the others, I'm gonna just put that in here just so that the roots stay nice and hydrated, because sometimes, I know it sounds silly, but even like, especially with a plant like that that's got quite a spindly root system, even just sitting out in kind of like normal room conditions where the air's quite dry, can be enough for the root system to just dry out, especially when, obviously, this is an import. It's such a beautiful plant, oh my goodness. It's so, so beautiful. Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited. As I say, that is one that I have just wanted for such a long time. I've wanted it for ages. Okay, I'm gonna leave so the ones that they have included that I don't know what they are, I'm not gonna open them yet. I think I'll save them till last. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. This might be the one that I'm the most excited about, to be honest. Okay, I know I'm saying I'm going to leave them all till last. I love leaving the best till last, but I feel like they're all going to be great. I'm going to put that to one side. And I'm going to just see... Ooh, oh my God. I'm going to put that one to one side as well. Okay. Ah, don't fall. Sorry, Yoli, I made her jump. This is another one that I picked, and it's another one that I've wanted for ages. It is a wish list plant. I'm just so excited about all of these. Every time I do an unboxing video, especially like a really special one like this, I just feel like an overwhelmed child in a toy store because there's just too much. There's too much. And I always watch them back and I'm like, God, you should have been being more coherent, like chatting more about like, I don't know, the internodal spacing or the variegation on the leaves. And I'm just like, oh, because it's very exciting, isn't it? It is literally like a child in a kid in a sweet shop. So straight off the bat, I can see a couple of yellowing leaves on this one. However, it still looks very healthy. So yeah, this is a Philodendron glorious, which I think I'm right in saying is a Gloriosum Gloriosum melanochrysum hybrid. And actually, assuming I'm right about that, and I think I am, you can kind of see the elements of both of them. And Emma's got the most beautiful Philodendron glorious, and I'm always looking at hers and I'm like, oh my God, I want that plant so much. I've got the Philodendron splendid in my collection, which is a Verrucosum melanochrysum hybrid, and I adore that plant. This is one that I've wanted for ages. But yeah, as I say, it lost that leaf. And it's got a yellowing one here, which, to be honest, they are also the lowest leaves that it's lost here. I'm not worried about that in the slightest. That happens just when you get plants within the UK, and these have been on quite a journey. So yeah, I am just going to look at the roots again and just see how they're doing. But again, this one's got another new leaf unfurling, and I can't see any damage on it whatsoever. I don't want to mess with it and unfurl it more, but it just looks perfect. And those leaves look so conditioned. Aren't they just gorgeous? And I'll be interested to do a bit of digging on this plant, because I've had the Gloriosum before and I've had the melanochrysum, and the melanochrysum is one that, oh my goodness, similar actually to what I just said about the Verrucosum, is one that I, in its pure form, could not get on with. I tried and I tried and I tried. I grew it to a decent size at one point. I had leaves like that and it was about that tall. But every single time something's gone a little bit wrong. And I know that hybrid philodendrons typically, I think because they've got a more diverse gene pool, they are typically a little bit more resilient to certain things and therefore a bit more robust and easier to grow. As I say, I've definitely found that to be the case with things like the Philodendron splendid. So yeah, the reason I was saying about doing some kind of research on this one is just because I know the Gloriosum is obviously a crawling plant. This is a climbing plant, but the Gloriosum is a crawling plant and does well in not low light conditions, but kind of like medium, lower light, lower intensity light than why can I not remember the name? The Melanochrysum, for example. So it's got two parent plants with slightly different care requirements. And therefore, I'm like, interesting. Does that mean that this is a philodendron that might do quite well in like medium light? I don't know. If you have this plant, do let me know in the comments. Also, it's a little bit noisy. We've got building work going on and I've got the windows open and we're right by a road. So I do apologise for the noise. But yeah, again, its roots look really healthy. They are a little bit darker. They are a little bit darker, but not in an unhealthy way, if that makes sense. Like sometimes you can have plants that just naturally have a slightly darker root system. It does look really full, even towards the ends. It looks really full. Like sometimes I'll kind of give the roots a little trim back, and I actually don't think I need to here. So yeah, just for the time being, again, I'm going to just pop it into the same water as the Majestic. Oh my God, two beautiful plants. Oh, I always feel so blown away. Not that you need to import to get beautiful plants, because you totally don't. There are so many amazing growers in the UK, or I'm sure like wherever, like locally you are in the world. But I think just sometimes the range of plants, because obviously a lot of them come from their natural habitat, the range of plants that you can get when you do import, it just blows my mind. And these are wish list plants, like major wish list plants. But then, okay, so this is the last one that I picked, and this is the one that just absolutely blew me away when I saw it on the website, and I was like, oh, it's so lovely. I'm really hoping it's okay. I really hope it's all right. Its roots look amazing, so I'm hoping even if the foliage isn't, I can grow it back. Let's have a look. Oh, I feel like I just got goosebumps. Oh my God. So, if you watch my channel, you'll probably know that one of my favourite plants is the Anthurium regal. However, it is one that I've really struggled with. I've really struggled to grow it. I can't put my finger on exactly why, but it's just not a plant that I've got on particularly well with. Although it is currently giving me a second leaf, which is positive. However, on their website, I saw that they had a regal hybrid, and I don't know what this is hybridized with. I don't know what the other parent plant is, but it's just, whatever it is, the most stunning combination. Just look at that. Isn't that amazing? Like the lobiness at the top there, it's got that lovely regal form, but then the length, it almost looks like maybe, I don't know, maybe it's like a regal crystallinum hybrid or something. It's almost like it's a deeper, richer green with slightly thinner veination than the regal that I've got anyway. So yeah, any theories? I know a lot of you are so clued up on anthuriums, way more so than me. Do any of you have any theories about what this could be? It's got some leaves back here as well. They've all kind of been bent upwards, but yeah, look at that. Oh, that is just amazing. And oh my God, I can already see its roots are incredible, but also look at those aerial roots, my God. It's so tempting to say this one's probably ready to just be potted straight up, but I am gonna just be very cautious, as I say, because of my last experience. But oh, that's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. And again, like I said about both of the philodendrons so far, hybrids are typically more resilient and robust and a little bit easier on the whole. Not always, but I've just found them to be a little bit easier. So yeah, considering I've struggled a bit with the Regal, I'm really intrigued to see how I find growing this one. Whatever it's hybridized with, whatever it's crossed with. Oh, well, those roots are perfect. They would be perfect if I picked this plant up from a UK plant shop. You would not think that they'd been in transit for like 12 days or 10 days or however long I said it was. Look at those. Oh my God, they are succulent and full and amazing. I feel like this might be, I've said it before, but I go through like plant obsessions. Not that I fall out of love with the plants afterwards, but I obsess over plants. Like for example, like Peperomia hope, Pallidiflorum, Monstera dubia, ones that I just find myself talking about non-stop. And I kind of feel like I might have just met my new soulmate. I feel like this plant might be the one. So lovely. Okay, again, just for a moment while I unbox the others, I'm going to put it in the water. That is getting very full. I need to deal with that. But then these ones that are left are the ones that Aroid Asia have chosen for me. So I'm not sure what they are. The one that intrigues me when I first opened the box, oh my God, oh wow. So, they've actually, these are tissue culture plants, but they've actually arrived in the tissue culture jelly. And these are Anthurium papillilaminum hybrids. So again, I don't know what they're hybridized with. And to be honest, it doesn't look like there's a massive amount to show at the moment because they are very young. And I actually, like, I don't know if I've ever transferred plants out of tissue culture into, oh, that's a lie actually. I got a plant from the Eden lab before and I did have to do that then. God, this is difficult to get into. Oh, lovely. Got some jelly on me. Okay, there's a couple of yellowing leaves again, which I will remove just in case things start to rot. There's not a huge amount to show you at the moment, apart from most of the stuff in there does look very healthy. A couple of yellowing leaves is very normal, again, even if it is just in the UK. So I'm going to take those off. Oh, we've got lovely root systems. They've given me quite a few here. This is so kind. I was going to say as well, Aroid Asia have given me a discount code for you guys to use. So if you at any point want to place an order with them, then you can use the code and get money off. But yeah, so with the tissue culture ones, I've just taken the yellow leaves off. That's what they're looking like. I will, oh yeah, you can see a little leaf there. I will absolutely keep you updated with these ones and show you them as they grow and develop, because in fact, I will probably contact Aroid Asia and just ask if they know what the other parent plant is, just because I'm intrigued. Typically papillilaminum pappy hybrids are gorgeous though. I've got 2 in my collection at the moment and they just, pappies tend to make gorgeous hybrids. So yeah, I'm intrigued and I'm excited. And then this is a very these both look strange shapes. Interesting. Okay, so this one, it says it's a Hoya caudata hook, and I've got a Hoya caudata Sumatra. So I'm wondering, oh, lost a leaf. I'm wondering, oh, it's weird. Oh, I love a weird Hoya. What is this? Oh my God, the size of these leaves is insane. So, this is definitely, I can tell it's a Hoya caudata, very similar to my caudata Sumatra. But the leaves, like, look at that leaf there. Like, I'll put my hand next to it for scale. Look at the size of that. But it's big. It's really long. And it's weird. It's so weird. And don't get me wrong, I love a weird Hoya. But I have just never, I've never seen one like this before. I've never seen anything with like the length and the, like, I don't know, it almost doesn't feel like a real plant. It's so cool. So yeah, it's growing also very straight at the moment. So I guess it's one that would like to be trellised. I'm actually half thinking my Hoya caudata Sumatra, which kind of just looks like a smaller version of this. I've got that one in my cabinet at the moment, and it's not on a trellis, but it definitely wants to climb. Because they've got similar vibes, I could pop them up together and kind of trellis them together. I think that might look quite nice. The thing that I'm always intrigued about with new Hoyas when I see them, obviously like they can have incredible foliage, but it's what their blooms will look like. So if I can find a picture, I think this was the caudata hook. If I can find a picture of what this one's blooms look like, I will put it somewhere on the screen so that you can see. And again, with all of these, if any of you guys have any of these plants, please let me know your experience with them, because I'm always so intrigued when I get new ones, because sometimes they completely baffle you and go completely against what you would have initially expected. Oh, in fact, I've actually got 2 sections in here. That's a very little section, but amazingly rooted. Yeah, again, these roots just, they look perfect. They look so perfect. Yeah, look at them. There's barely anything, there is literally nothing that needs doing there. Again, I'm just going to put them in water for the time being while I open the last one. And then, yeah, we will deal with those ones and come back to them. Right, last plant, let's do it. And this is another Hoya. This is a Hoya Tendon Red. Ooh. Okay. So, I don't think I've ever seen this kind of Hoya before. You look at it from the front and it looks just quite generic. It looks just kind of like, I don't know, a plant, just, I don't know. I'm explaining this poorly, but like, you wouldn't necessarily think it's anything special. Look at the back of its leaves. How cool are they? It's got that gorgeous, like, maroon stripe of veination that runs down the back. I almost want to grow it facing away from me. In fact, if I put it on one of my window shelves, I will be able to do that, and I will be able to appreciate the backs of the leaves. That's really cool. Look at those. And they've put it in this little container, and I mean, to be honest, I love what they've done here. They've just made little holes at the bottom for drainage. And I'm so tempted to just leave it like this. I can see the roots in there, they look perfectly healthy. And while the plant's acclimating, I always say unless you absolutely need to, obviously with these ones I do, but unless you absolutely need to, don't mess with the plants too much because they have been through such a massive transition. Like, as I say, when you import plants, I'm just going to put all the stuff back in the box as well, as in all the rubbish for now. But when you import plants, they, like these ones have come from Indonesia. It's a very different climate to where I live here in the UK. They've obviously been shipped here, there, everywhere. It's been hot, it's been cold. They will have just been through a lot of trauma, and they're tropical plants now trying to adjust to a UK home environment. These ones have likely been grown in like outdoor greenhouses as well. So yeah, it's a lot for them to go through. And as I say, I'm definitely not an expert, but I do consider myself a pretty seasoned hobbyist. Like, I've been in the plant game for quite a long time, and I have lost plants whilst importing before, just like through silly little mistakes and things that I could have done differently. So yeah, let me just put that to one side. And I am just quickly going to change my camera battery before I do this as well, because it is about to die. Bear with me. Hello again, we are back. So yeah, right. With the tissue culture ones, these ones here, I will probably put these into my cabinet and drop Aroid Asia a message just to say, like, what were their conditions like before? Shall I leave them like this? I don't know. If any of you are experienced with tissue culture and plants kind of at this stage, let me know what you do, because it's an area that I'm pretty unfamiliar with, if I'm being honest. So yeah, my gut is to say keep conditions fairly warm and fairly stable and not transition them out yet. I was going to say, like, I know I'm saying I'm going to ask Aroid Asia this, that, the other. It's absolutely fine when you're, like, when you buy plants anyway, but like when you import plants, to talk to the people that you got them from and ask these questions, because obviously they want the plants that they've sent out and grown to do well, and you want them to do well. I typically ask too many questions, and I think that's fine, personally. But then this one, this Hoya, as I say, I really like the way that they've done this, and I can see that the roots are good. I could like open it up and mess with it, but I kind of don't want to, and I don't think there's any need to. I will obviously be monitoring these plants so intensely and like making sure that everything's fine, and if anything starts to change, I will change things up over like the coming weeks. But this one again, I think, as I say about putting into cabinet, I'd like to keep them initially a little bit isolated if I can. I know it's not always easy with a big collection, but I have got quite a few like propagation boxes, like prop bins, and I think I'm probably going to empty one out and create a little cabinet environment for these plants so they can still be away from the rest of my collection, but they can be getting good light, good heat, good humidity. I've got, in fact, if I spin you round, I don't know if you can see there, I've got a load of prop bins. Can you see them? Just there. I can empty out one of those and I can keep them specifically for these plants. I know that they have passed like the phytosanitary checks and all that sort of stuff and inspections, and they look perfect. They look absolutely perfect. But just to be on the safe side, I'm going to just do a little isolate. But then this weird one, the Caudata hook, I believe, it's hard to know what to do with this one because I'm so sure it would be fine going into soil. But initially, I think maybe, just again for the first few weeks even, I might just put it back into sphagnum moss. And in a box as well, because Hoyas love that. I don't think it's completely necessary, and I honestly do think... Can you see what I'm doing? I can never tell. Also, I haven't put my potting mat down, so it probably just looks like there's no table here. I'll tilt the camera down a little bit. There we go. What was I saying? Oh yeah, putting Hoyas into boxes. Was that what I was saying? I'm not sure. But yes, that is what I am going to do. and I've got some fresh sphagnum moss. Yeah, Hoyas are typically very resilient and robust, and to be honest, I don't think, and I never want to jinx things, but I don't think I've ever imported a Hoya that has ended up going downhill. I don't think I've ever lost a Hoya due to like acclimation issues or anything like that. And I think as well, yeah, I've literally gone straight into water, I've gone into moss, I've gone into soil. It would probably be all right. It would probably be all right, but I'm gonna just keep it in moss. Just for the first initial period. And then because it's so long as well, I could also chop it up and propagate it if I wanted to get it bigger. That's a decision I don't need to make now. Again, I'm not going to put the plant under any more stress than it needs to go through. It's always quite exciting when you get a weird Hoya as well, because some of the Hoyas that I've acquired, I mean, the one that springs to mind for me is the undulata red. Some of the weird Hoyas that I've received from importing in the past are ones that have often kind of made me go, ooh, like that's a bit odd, that's a bit weird. And then they've ended up being like some of my favourite plants because they just, I don't know, they're so unpredictable and they're so cool and they're just not the sort of thing you see every day. And I'm genuinely really excited about this one. I think if I was like looking online for myself, it's not one that I would have picked. But that doesn't mean that it's not one that's exciting me. I think it is going to be interesting to grow. So yeah, that's how I'm going to keep it for the time being. As I say, I'm going to put it into a box and I'll come back to them in probably, I don't know, I usually do like a week or two's update and we can just have a look and see what's changed, see if there's been any issues. As I say, I don't want to jinx it, but these plants look so perfect. I cannot imagine there being any issues. I'm just having a very close look. So with this Anthurium, I'm just looking at the base of it as well and just making sure there's no like squishiness or anything, because I think that's where I went wrong with my Anthurium veitchii that didn't make it. That was very sad. But it looks amazing. It just looks amazing. And this one, I think I'm probably going to put... I'm going to put it into sphagnum moss, but I'm going to put it straight into a tower pot. And yes, like I could further down the line, like in a week, a month or whatever, I could change out its substrate, but I think it could also grow very happily in just pure sphagnum moss. So this could be like the final pot up. We'll see. We'll see how it gets on. But yeah, and I want to just make sure that when I pot it, I'm getting all of those, because I say it's got aerial roots coming all the way up. I want to make sure all of those are covered and submerged so that they can kind of develop their own root system and go down into the moss. And I'm going to plant it a little bit lower down than you might think is a good idea, just because then it gives me scope to like carry on filling up as the plant grows. But yeah, as I say, I'm so intrigued to know what this is a cross of. I mean, maybe they say just a hybrid instead of a specific plant, because maybe it's a Regal crossed with a Clarinervium crossed Crystallinum crossed Doriaki crossed, like, do you know what I mean? Maybe it's got like one clear mother plant being the Regal and the rest are like a pool of lots of things. But I'm just always quite interested. I know it doesn't actually really make that much difference. But yeah, it's just very intriguing. And I know I've spoken about it a lot kind of over the last year, but I am so intrigued and excited to play about with pollination and like different hybridization within Anthuriums. I'm experimenting a little bit at the moment, and it's something that I really want to continue to do. So yeah, the fact that I've got this one, I'm like, oh, it would make lovely babies. So So yeah, that's very exciting. But yeah, I've just packed sphagnum moss around that. And again, I think I can fit this in the tool bin. I think I'm going to put all of them in there. But yeah. And I think as well, once it's had a water and everything, it will spread its foliage a little bit, because as I say, it's very upright at the moment. But oh, isn't that just gorgeous? That's got to be, for me anyway, one of the most beautiful anthuriums I've ever seen. Yeah, it's just amazing. I can't believe it's mine. Yeah, I mean, I will say it again, I'm sure, but thank you so much, Aroid Asia. This is so kind of you. And yeah, I'm really happy to have discovered you, because there's so many places nowadays that you can import from. And you do hear a complete range of kind of experiences. Some people have great times importing, some people... Oh, hello.
I just want to tell you that
Hello,
I had enough. Done some crazy.
Ross has finished work for the day. Hello, darling.
Are you still working?
Yeah, I am. What was I saying? That's what I was saying. A completely mixed bag when importing. And like, you can import from an amazing place and still not have the best experience, just because it is obviously a risk when you import plants. It's always a bit of a risk because you don't know the delays, you don't know weather conditions, all that sort of stuff. And in fact, these two both look like they need fairly tall containers. I've only got one to hand, so I need to go get another one in a minute. But yeah, the thing that I can tell with Aroid Asia is they've just clearly put so much care and thought into the way that they've packaged their plants, and they just look in such lovely condition. And you like to think that you're getting plants that have been, I don't know, not just churned out for the sake of it. There's so much kind of mass produced, quick, get it out, chop, prop. And these just look really, yeah, really conditioned, really well cared for, which is nice. It feels like they've been set up in a good way. So yeah, as you can see, I am literally putting all of them into sphagnum moss just because it feels like the right thing to do. I know there have been times where I've gone straight into semi-hydro, where I've gone straight into soil. I don't think there's ever a right or a wrong way, but I now very much err on the edge of caution. And I think sphagnum moss and perlite actually, but sphagnum moss for me is my go-to, it's my preference. It's just a nice way of allowing some aeration to the roots whilst keeping them nice and hydrated, encouraging your plant to settle in. So yeah, that's what my gut's telling me to do. And I have a feeling I might lose, sorry, my phone's dinging, I meant to put it on silent. I have a feeling I might lose that leaf as well, but that's okay. Again, that's one of the lower leaves, and that is kind of to be expected. But yeah, yay. Oh, I've got this beautiful selection of plants in front of me. Oh, so I just need to find one more taller container. And in fact, you know what I might do? Not right now, but when I come back to these plants in a couple of weeks, I might take a couple of wet stick cuttings and then prop those in a prop box, just because I've got this big long section here, which I'm going to include now in moss, but I think there is scope for chopping and propping. Bear with. So I actually can't find another tall container like that, which is what I was looking for. But I have got a smaller tower pot, which does have drainage. But I think I'm going to go in with this. I think that should be a good option for this little one. Oh, this is one that I have ogled over so many times in the past. And I just feel so grateful to now own. I also feel like this is a good time to bring some new plants into my, well, actually I say that lighting wise, it's the worst time because we've got building works going on at the moment and scaffolding up and all sorts. But in terms of like my capabilities as a plant parent and the fact that I'm not feeling overwhelmed by my plants at the moment. I'm just absolutely loving caring for them. I tend to cycle a little bit. But yeah, I don't feel overwhelmed with the thought of bringing new things in, which is always good. I've said it before as well, but using transparent containers. I do it for so many of my plants now actually, but especially new plants, just allows you to monitor the root system really well. So that if anything does start to go wrong, you can kind of spot it straight away instead of waiting to see signs on the foliage. So just for the time being, I'm happy. Oh, look at that. That is so beautiful. Because it's quite young, it's almost got Brandtianum vibes, Philodendron Brandtianum. But yeah, as I say, if you haven't seen what this plant looks like or can grow into, Google it. Or in fact, I'll put a picture somewhere on the screen so that you can see, because it looks amazing. But yeah, that was, I think, potentially I think that's potentially the best import I've ever done. That was absolutely amazing. And I am bowled over by the plants, absolutely over the moon. So thank you so much, Aroid Asia. I am so happy with those. And as I say, Aroid Asia have very kindly said that you guys can get a discount when you use my code. I will put all of the details for that in the description box below. Because yeah, I would highly recommend it. But yeah, I'll give you guys an update on these plants in the next few weeks. Keep your fingers crossed for them, but I have all the faith that they're going to be good. But yeah, have a lovely day, whatever you're doing. And if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, have a lovely day, and I will see you in the next video.
Stay sexy, plant lovers.